live. Let me just bring it up on my secondary computer, make sure everything's working, because this is sort of the first time I think I've got everything working exactly how I wanted it. So let's
Maybe one day I'll get a. Sorry.
No, go ahead.
Maybe one day I'll get a secondary computer too and a whole desktop setup. But I like working on a tablet.
Yeah. Yeah, I have my work computer. I have my laptop over here, but it's kind of getting a little old. It's a MacBook Pro, but it's kind of, I don't know, it's like 4 or 5 years old. And as soon as I wanted to start live streaming, it just was not cutting it. So unfortunately, had to buy a new PC. So that was just a few months ago. I just went ahead and bought a new PC, and that's what I'm using. So we are live, by the way.
Hey everybody, for all those who will be watching.
We've got one viewer, and I think it's me.
Well, I mean, hopefully we get some more. But
Yeah.
you know, I mean, as far as what's been said, especially on EVS from EVS's camp, everybody's watching, whether we know it or not. They'll watch eventually. You got ComicsGate people watching. You have anti-ComicsGate people watching. And I mean, you know, that's why I'm on the mission to make sure, like, I'm gonna take a lesson from Tug. Like he said when he was streaming with us that day, it's like you got to keep validating yourself, and it's like an ongoing purity test to let people know where you stand and whose side you're on. And like after all the emotional stuff the past couple of days and everything, I believe in ComicsGate's morals and what they believe in, but I am not ComicsGate. I'm not using that hashtag anymore. I take a cue from Peter Samedi, and I'm using Team Comics, and I'm using the hashtag of my own brand, my own company that I will have one day. So I mean, but I believe in what ComicsGate believes in, you know. But it's just too much drama, too much infighting, and the thing that bothers me the most, you know, I mean, it's like I said before, I respect Vance Carvin. I have no malice towards one of the greatest artists who ever lived on this planet. I have no malice towards John Milne, another great artist, or Richard C. Meyer, or Mike S. Miller. But it's like you have trolls and
Hey,
fanboys. Were you going to say something?
I was just saying, hey, Indy 500 fan, popped in here first one.
You have trolls and fanboys who like to go back and tell these people, and they like to make up stories, or oh, so and so is talking about you, or so and so is dissing you. And I've never in my life, even on my own videos on my channel, I've never ever dissed EVS or Mike S. Miller or Doug TenNapel or anybody. Doug, first off, Doug TenNapel, I call him dad, and I call him dad for a very personal reason. I love Doug TenNapel. John Millen, like I've gone on record saying, the only thing I disagree with Millen with is when he said that everybody's in competition. They have to be hungry and thirsty coming into this creator, artist, writer game. And I'm not competition with anybody because, like I keep saying, I want to tell stories next to these guys. I want to tell stories. I mean, ComicsGate has become a stable, like Bullet Club, like a wrestling stable, and that's all fine and dandy, you know. I mean, EVS, Malin, Miller, all of them, you know, it's this Bullet Club mentality, the Russell Stable mentality going on. That's all fine and dandy. I support it. I'm down with it. Do I want to be part of the stable? Not necessarily, but I'm not an enemy of the stable. Like, I mean, I'm going to be a loner and do my own thing, but I support what they say. But at the same time, I'm not their comp. I'm not here to make my stories and make money and take food off their table, take money out their pocket, or steal their fan base. I'm here to create my own fan base because I tell radically different stories than every last one of them, and they tell radically different stories from each other.
Yeah.
So I mean, it just bothers me because on top of all the infighting and the debates and the people showing up on Ricada Law, there's been a lot of misconstrued things said, and a lot of people saying crazy stuff and trying to paint other people as the bad guy, or other people as anti-ComicsGate, or other people as talking crap about you know the quote unquote leaders of ComicsGate. And like I said, these guys say they're not the leaders, but by de facto law, because their voices are the loudest, they're the leaders. You know, Ethan Van Sciver, no disrespect, he has that Negan Walking Dead mentality about how he handles himself. And I respect that. That's a man's man right there. I respect what he says. I respect who he is, and I have no beef with Van Sciver or Mike S. Miller or anybody else. The
Mm-hmm.
only thing I disagree with was that one statement that John Millen said, because I'm not here to compete with these guys. I'm here to learn from these guys, get tips, get pointers, get critiques, make myself better. And when I get out there in the market with my own products and my own works to make money, I don't want them thinking that, oh, I'm here to steal your fan base, or oh, I'm here to steal your clientele, or if I run, or I'm not trying to run afoul of them, so I get blacklisted out the market, because you got people who worship these creators like gods, and I don't want to go out there and get published, and then you got somebody who says who loves Ethan Van Sciver so strongly, and then you ran afoul of Ethan Van Sciver, somebody who I greatly admire. I'm not going to publish your work, or I'm not going to give you backing, and it's like you got to walk on eggshells now. And
Yeah.
I hate walking on eggshells, not because I'm scared of anybody, but I don't want the wrong impression said, or people like the War Campaign, or these fanatics, fans of Van Sciver, or anybody else to be like, oh, so and so don't like you, so and so talking about you. No, I make videos myself all the time. Like, I admire these guys, I respect them, I consider them family. I just I'm tired of the negativity. But every day you got people and trolls, and some of these trolls are people like John Della Rose with multiple accounts, or fanatic fanboys with multiple accounts, going behind people's backs and taking screen caps and taking parts from videos and editing it to make it seem like that you're talking about badly about this person, or you hate this person when you don't. I mean, I brought Graveyard Shift. I respect John Mill. I supported Graveyard Shift. Was one of the first projects I supported. That and Knuckle Bomb. So I mean, why would I talk crap about John Miller while I'm spending my hard-earned supervisor money on his book? Like, I got to work hard for my money, and I still got to pay for my stuff, for my writing, my bills, my rent, take care of my apartment. So why would I sit there and spend money on a man's book and then talk crap about him? No, that's ass backwards. I'm a grown ass man. I don't hate. I'm not jealous of their money, of their earnings. I mean, God bless them. I hope they make millions of dollars. But that's the only thing I disagree with Millen. I'm not here to be competition. Maybe other people are. I'm not here to compete. I'm here to tell my stories next to Critias, next to Cunley, next to Doug Tenaple. I want to be allies with these people and be able to come to them later down the line if I am successful and be like, yo, I mean, what can I do to do better? What tips can you give me? Or, how could I market the way you market? I'm not here to compete with anybody. And like I keep on going back to people who are more well known and more famous and richer than Van Sciver and all these guys, like like Stephen King and Anne Rice. You don't hear Stephen King and Anne Rice talk about some, oh well, we're in competition. No, and both of these are millionaire authors. J.K. Rowling is a millionaire author. You don't see J.K. Rowling saying, oh, I'm in competition with Stephen King. No, you don't hear that amongst them. And they're all millionaires. I mean, we could all be millionaires together. I'm just not here to compete. I'm not here for the drama.
Mm-hmm.
I keep telling people, I've had a very hard life. I have had my kids murdered. I have been abused when I was a child, mentally, emotionally, physically, and sexually. I've been through hell. I've had diseases. I've been sick. I've been on death's door. I'm not for the drama. I'm 37 years old, and I'm trying to be as zen as, I'm not Buddhist. I'm a Christian, but I'm trying to be as zen as a Buddhist.
Mm-hmm.
I'm here for positivity, love, and harmony. I'm not here for drama. So even
Yeah.
something as simple as, oh, you're my competition in the world of writing and art and whatever. No, I'm not here for competition. I'm here for peace, love, and harmony, and to learn from you guys. I want to learn from Van Sciver, not compete with his customer base. I want to learn from John Mill and not compete with his customer base or anybody else. And it's like every day I wake up, I got to keep reminding people I'm not the enemy. I'm a friend. I'm an ally. I'm here to learn. I got pencil and paper ready. I'm here to learn. I don't want to compete with these guys. I want to be a student of the game. I'm not here to disrupt the game, attack anybody. And I'm sorry for being long-winded, but I feel that like every day now I got to keep reminding people that I'm not an enemy. I'm a fan. I'm an ally, and I just want to learn from these guys. I really do.
Mm-hmm.
And I guess it would probably make me feel better if one of them reached out to me and said that everything's all right, don't worry. But I haven't heard anything back yet, because all I keep seeing is trolls doing this, trolls doing that, people making fake accounts, people running to DMs and saying, "Oh, you see what so and so is doing? You see what so and so is doing?" No, I'm not. I'm not here for this internet drama. I'm just not here for it. I'm here for
Yeah.
peace, love, and harmony. And I know it's the internet, but that doesn't mean you can't behave yourself like a civilized human being. You know,
Well,
we should all. We should. I'm. I'm not trying to cut you off or anything. I'm sorry.
that's all right.
I know that was long-winded. I'm just trying to make it clear that, I admire these guys. I want to learn from these guys. I'm not here to be anybody's enemy, foe, competition, critic. I'm trying to learn what I can.
Yeah.
Like I talk to Doug Ernst on a regular basis, and Doug Ernst is a famous journalist. And I mean, Doug Ernst is teaching me stuff about the game too. And he said, "Well, I'm learning from you too. I'm watching your videos, and I'm learning things from you too. We're learning from each other." And that's the type of relationship I want with Van Sciver or Maryland or Miller. Like, learn from each other, grow from each other. Bounce stuff off each other, and learn how to be better writers, better creators, and better entertainers. I'm not here to be anybody's enemy.
Hmm.
But you got these fanboys and these fangirls who want to misconstrue stuff. They want to run their God King Van Sciver. They want to run to their God King John Millen. Ooh, so and so talking about you. Ooh, so and so said this, or ooh, so and so said that. No, I'm not. I'm not here to be anybody's enemy. Like I said, the only thing I disagree with, and I went on record several times of saying, is I'm not their competition. Because in reality, right now, at this stage of the game, I'm a nobody writer, and I would be destroyed by somebody like Van Sciver or John Millen. I know I would. I know I would. I would have no choice but to concede, but I'm not here to compete. I'm here to tell my stories next to them. Like, seriously,
Well,
I'm not here to be. I'm not here to be an enemy.
yeah, of course. Yeah, I think that's why you know, the conclusion to this, basically, Ethan's final decision to just get out of ComicsGate was a good one, because I think, I mean, you're not going to get attacked by any of those guys. They whether you call it competition or just fellow creators or whatnot, they're not going to attack people for competing, for being out there in the marketplace. Um, they may or may not promote people, but that's up to them, and just because they don't promote someone doesn't necessarily mean that they're against them. They're just, he's only got one channel and he's only got so much time. He's only one person, and it's up to everybody to promote themselves.
And that's the thing. That's why I'm building my own platform, my own Twitter, my own YouTube channel.
Hmm.
And what a lot of people, just like the Andons, what a lot of people fail to realize is that Van Sciver has already promoted people and already told people how to do it. Even if you never set foot on his show, he is showing you every day how to be entertaining, how to be engaging,
Yeah.
how to be loving, how to be friendly to your fans, how to be friendly to your audience. He's teaching you by doing his own show, making his own money, how to be successful. All you got to do is watch what he does, and you don't necessarily have to imitate it, but watch what he does, take down notes, and then go and do your own thing. All these people screaming and crying, "Oh, I want to be on Ethan's show next to the greats, next to the funny people. I want to laugh and joke with Cecil." You don't have to be on Ethan's show to laugh and joke with Cecil. You could go. Cecil has liked a bunch of my posts that I did. I've done a lot of funny posts that Cecil has liked and retweeted, and Doug Tenaple has liked and retweeted, and even Van Sciver has liked and retweeted. I've done a lot of posts that they like and they take notice to. And Van Sciver even said one time in a short sentence, "Yeah, John's got a good YouTube channel. He's got a sense of humor. He's funny and insightful." And I didn't even ask him to say that, and I appreciate that. I mean, he's already teaching us by doing his own thing what we need to do. But a lot of people, they want to, sit there and cry and complain. "I can't be on the show. I can't be up there chilling with them." You don't have to show a Van Sciver to do what Van Sciver's doing or to learn anything from Van Sciver. All you got to do is watch, pay attention, listen. It's like being in college. And I said this before in the chats, like when Doug Tenaple's sitting there drawing, or when the Umbrella Guy and Edwin Boyette are talking about things going on in the community and giving us updates and stuff. I'm taking down notes. It's like being in college. It's like being in the classroom. It's like being in the church. It's being in a sermon. You're getting knowledge just by these people opening their mouths, and you're getting it for free. You're getting a college course about how to be an entertainer, an entrepreneur, a salesman, a writer, an artist, just by being in the audience for free on YouTube. And I think that's the thing that Anti-Comics Gate hates the most, that people are learning what Van Sciver and the rest of them are doing up close and personal, and they're learning how to not be like the big two and make the same mistakes of the big two. But all these people crying and complaining because they can't be on Van Sciver's show to be close to their God King is pathetic. I mean, all you gotta do is watch his show, send super chats, talk to him that way, take notes, write down, everything that you see, and go back and study it and do your own thing on your own channel. And
Hmm.
then maybe when you're big enough, Ethan will notice you and he'll invite you on because you got a good personality.
Yeah, definitely. Well, I think just to wrap, sort of wrap up the weekend, I guess. It was it Friday or Thursday they had that debate. I guess it was Friday on Nick's channel. So I know somebody tweeted me saying I was out. What the heck is going on? What's happening? What did I
Yeah, it was
miss?
Friday. It was Friday 'cause I had a big delivery at my store that day, and I had to
Yeah,
let my. I was on a live stream with my artist, and we were talking, and my phone had died, and I had to go run and plug my phone up to charge it because
yeah,
the debate was about to start. It was Friday, and I watched some of it in the beginning, but then after my phone charged a little bit, I had to go back and watch the rest of it. But it was
right. Well,
it, it was a very emotional day.
yeah, definitely. So I guess it was I'm not Tyler on on Twitter who's asking me. I said he was busy all weekend trying to catch up. So basically, there was and I don't know. Poor Ethan has to do all these debates. He doesn't have to, obviously, he agrees to them, but you know, he was invited to go on Nick's channel to debate with some comic skaters about whether or not I don't know if it was I don't know what the topic was exactly whether ComicsGate was dead or whether he was the leader or
The
whether
topic was
he was
about the future of ComicsGate.
yeah the future and the past and what it means and all that stuff and I think they were both right
They are.
in basically we had one side who was saying, well, it's all about criticizing mainstream comics and trying to get them to see their point of view, I guess, or get or at least just bring that to the to the public to show what's going on. And then Ethan saying, well, okay, that's phase one. To him, phase two is making our own comics, making a living and creating new, better comics. And they're completely disagreeing with him that that is a part of the movement. And so he kind of got frustrated with that whole thing because he's got a family, he's got to put food on the table, he's got to move on. And frankly, they're not mainstream comics aren't going to change. I mean, there's going to be a few that come out that are decent, but in general, they're on a path that they're not going to change. And so, sort of the future of comics, the industry is going to be with these indie creators. And, like it or not, making money on comics is sort of the main point for creators anyway. And the way you make money is to make comics that people like and want to read and want to buy. So near the end, they kind of resolved a few things, but ultimately Ethan was like, I'm just tired of this. This is nonsense. This is crazy. Um, I'm not sure I can do this anymore. And we weren't exactly sure what he meant by this, uh, but essentially he announced, okay, look, obviously these people who have been in Comicsgate for years now don't really want me here anymore. They don't want me to. They don't want people to look at me as a leader or as a major influencer. So he was like, "Fine, that's fine. I still support the movement and everything, but I'm out." And he said multiple times, "I am not the leader of Comicsgate." Well, he's said pretty much definitively, "I am not even in Comicsgate anymore. I'm not involved." That can keep going on. Like I said, he's still going to support what they're doing, but he is not a part of the movement anymore. He is concentrating on his stuff, his books, his publishing company, um, and it does sound like it's essentially him trying to be the next image 2.0, and because he said he has, it sounds like he has plans to publish other people's comics as well once he's sort of got his pipeline established, and he just doesn't have the time or the inclination to put up with the bullshit that he's been putting up with. He just doesn't. He he needs to concentrate on his stuff. I mean, it's clear that he just needs to do that, and then and just not only, I guess, more definitively say, I am not the leader. In fact, I'm not even in the movement anymore. So he's out, and that's great because I listened to his show earlier, and it was pretty much the same. It was just creators talking about comics and talking about, craziness a bit, but essentially just saying, okay, we're not, this is no longer ComicsGate Live. Um, let's see. Hey, I'm not Tyler. I said EVS allegedly didn't have the power to say what he wanted associated with his platform show, but he did have the power to call out certain groups' fans. Yeah, I mean, that's kind of how all this started. He was saying, look, this, that, and the other should not be associated with ComicsGate because it makes us look bad, and people were pushing back saying you can't tell people what to do or what not to do. Okay, fine. If that's the case, and that's what he got so much flack over, fine. Then I'm out. I can't control people. I'm not even going to try anymore. So whatever people want to do with ComicsGate is fine with me. I'm not in it anymore. I can only control who and what I associate with. So yeah, if people say, "Oh, ComicsGate is this or that," it has some Discord channel that has shitty things said about it, he can say, "Well, that's not me. I'm not ComicsGate." So, oh well, that's up to them. I'm not going to control that. And what was the other thing that he was saying? Um, oh yeah. So the other thing that he did for the community that he got absolutely no credit for, well, I mean, except from people who understood what he was doing, was the trademarking of the word Comicsgate. He was trying to wrestle it away from fringe elements like Vox Day, and he did. And people said, "Oh, you're commandeering the entire movement for yourself," which he absolutely was not doing. He was doing us all a favor, and he got absolutely no credit, nothing but criticism for that. So he said this weekend, okay, screw it then. I'm not, he's like, I hereby release that trademark. If Vox Day wants to now create a ComicsGate Comics imprint, he's free to do so. He's not going to be sued by EVS, and he's not going to protect it anymore. So that was a little bit unfortunate, but I don't blame him. He was trying to do everybody a favor, and he got nothing but shit for it. It was absolutely ridiculous. So, yeah. So yeah, I'm not Tyler said he's seen screen grabs from the Nurkish Discord, and yeah. So I guess if Comicsgate isn't going to police things like that, then I guess it is going to end up being associated with comic book or with Comicsgate, but not EVS. And I agree with you. I was last week. I guess I don't know if we talked about this Friday or Thursday, but you were saying you're not going to use Comicsgate as a hashtag anymore, and I was disagreeing with you at the time. But now
You talk about
I
me?
think I think you're ahead of the curve. I agree with you now. I'm not going to use it anymore either.
I mean, yeah, to piggyback on that, England team, because a lot of people that love EVS think England team's the bad guy now. England team is a critic, but England team also has good points on the move the needle. The move the needle has worked. It has worked a little bit, but the move the needle has worked. Every DC and Marvel are paying attention to everything that's going on. They're paying attention to Van Sciver and his stable making money. They're paying attention to the critics on YouTube like Weaponized Nerve Rage and Yellow Flash and England Team and DNC. Definitely DNC. They're paying attention to the critics, and things are changing slowly but surely. They are changing a little bit. Both things that England Team and EVS talked about are working. But at the same time, while we're criticizing, we do need something else to run to.
Yeah.
We do need to also show DC and Marvel that, I mean, things could be, there is other alternatives out there. I mean, me personally, I read Dynamite, I read Red Sonja and Rainbow Bright. You know, I mean, I don't read Marvel and DC anymore because of what's going on, but there is other alternatives out there. You got Peter Simiti's company, which is beautiful. They have beautiful books and
Mm-hmm.
beautiful stuff like that. I'm a big supporter of Peter Simiti, and Move the Needle has worked in his own way. It's working slow, but it's working.
Mm-hmm.
But at the same time, Dan Skyver doing his own thing and helping these other creators bring good books. You know, whether you read Cyberfrog or whether you read Graveyard Shift or Lone Star, it's your choice. You know, you
Mm-hmm.
could pick and choose who you want to support, what's good for you. Just
Yeah.
like I did. I picked Graveyard Shift because Malin's a good artist. I picked Knuckle Bomb because Kung Lee has that anime manga style that I think is going to take him far into America and far into Japan, where you have people like Shonen Jump who will take notice of his work, and he could go down in history in America and overseas in Japan too, where manga originated. So I
Mm-hmm.
mean, both things are working now. Unraked Chevron, when he got out of that, I don't know. I don't care. 'Cause I don't know Unraked Chevron that much. I don't know that much about him.
Yeah. I've
But I
never heard of
know
him.
I came on YouTube and England Team and Weaponized Nerd Rage, who was also friends with England Teen and EVS. It was their channels and DNC's channel and Mim Hidrum who showed me how badly DC and Marvel were doing with their products and why it's a good thing to turn away from. You know, I watched England Teen streams for the past almost damn near a year. I watched Weaponized Nerd Rage for damn near a year.
Mm-hmm.
You know, and then EVS came on with his show and whatnot, and I started watching his show and everything, and all the other ComicsGate shows, and all the opinions matter. Every last one of them. All their opinions are important. All their views are important. And the thing that hurt my heart the most, like I said in the comment section when the debate first started, before my phone went dead, I said in the comment section, I have no hat in this race because England Teen and EVS are both right. They're both right in their views. I have no hat in this race. I'm not siding with anybody because they're both right. And
Mm-hmm.
now you have all these people this cursing out England Teen or calling him names or saying, oh, you drove off EVS, blah, 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 this, that, oh, you're jealous of his money. And I'm sitting there fighting on behalf of England Teen myself. Like, no, he's not jealous of anybody's money.
Mm-hmm.
He's not jealous of anybody's success. He wants Van Sciver and everybody to make all the money they can. It's just that he still wants to be a critic of Marvel and DC
Yeah.
because he does see, and I see it a little bit too, that Marvel and DC are listening and they are changing their tactics to a degree, and it's going to take a very long time before they completely change or before they apologize. But it is changing. But at the same time, while we're waiting for Marvel and DC to change, we can still enjoy Van Sciver and Malin and Mike S. Miller and Doug TenNapel and Critias and Kung Lee's books and stuff. And even maybe one day people want to draw my works too. I hope they do. You know, I want this to be a family of critics and creators and supporters in all fronts. We need everybody. England Team was around a long time. Doug Ernst was around a very long time.
Mm-hmm.
Captain Cummings was around. Captain Frugal. You know, I mean, DNC, Weaponized, Yellow Flash, Just Some Guy. These people were around for a very long time. Doug Ernst was around since 2014. You know, calling people out on bad behavior. And I mean, you know, people don't give Doug Ernst no credit. He's been around a very long time. And he doesn't get the credit he deserves. And like I said, I talked to Doug Ernst more than I talked to EVS. EVS, I've spoken to him in like one sentence, whatnot, or what's going on. That's it. I've actually spoken to Doug Ernst and had hour-long conversations with him about, you know, journalism, about the state of comic books, about how to better myself and market myself. You know, and that's the kind of relationship I want with these guys. Not to be enemies, not to be competition, not to be foes.
Mm-hmm.
I want a relationship with you guys where I could learn your techniques, I could learn from you and grow and become a better creator because,
Yeah.
you know, you can never stop learning. It's like Ryu Hoshi from Street Fighter. Ryu is a very good fighter, but he always says with every Street Fighter, I'm not a master. I'm not a master. I'm still learning. You will never be a master of your craft. You can always learn something new every day. And I mean, I'm glad EVS is around, not to be on his show, not to sit there and chill with him in a group chat on Twitter, not to sit there and bustle up with him like he's my best friend that I've known for years, but to sit there and learn from him and see what he's doing and become better myself.
Yeah.
because you got a lot of people out here that they talk to Edwin Boyette and Tug and other people who are good writers and good artists, and they want to go on EVS and sell just to have EVS promote their stuff because they're scared to talk. They're
Hmm.
scared to get on the microphone. They're scared to talk in front of people. They're scared to be funny. They're scared to make YouTube videos because they say, "Oh, it's not my thing. I'm just an artist." You have to, whether you're an artist or a writer, you have to be engaging. You have to be funny. You have to be able to talk to people on the microphone. You got to be able to talk to people on camera because you got to promote yourself. You know, I went to college for mass media. I got my associate's degree in mass media. I had to do like 3 speech writing classes and public speaking classes. So you have to get out there and talk. You can't just say, "Oh, I'm not going to talk."
Yeah.
You know, you have to get out there and talk. You have to get out there and talk to people, talk in front of crowds,
Hmm.
talk in front of to your customers. And if you get big like that, when you're doing book signings, you got to talk to people. You got to be able to shake their hands. Even if you're Doug Naple, when who allegedly doesn't wash his hands.
Yeah.
You got to be able to shake their hands and kiss babies and give speeches to people. It's almost like when you're an entertainer. It's almost like being a politician. You got to be able to hold an audience and captivate an audience
Yeah.
and be somebody that people want to gravitate towards. And I've said this many times before. You could actually have a sucky product. Your book could suck or be about the most mundane of topics, and people will still buy it and support you because they like you as a person,
Hmm.
because you're outspoken, because you're this, that, and the third. And I mean, not everybody loves Frank Miller. Some people think his stuff is corny. Not everybody loves Alan Moore. Not everybody loves. Some people still. I don't understand why. They still love Mark Waid. Some people love Max Fasaggio. I love Max Fasaggio's work, even though she cursed me out and read me to riot at. But I still love Max Fasaggio's work, and I'll still buy Kim and Kim, and I will still support her. So I mean, you can have the suckiest piece of work in the world, or the most mundane story, and people be like, a lot of people are like, this is boring. But then you'll have that cult following the fans like, look, I'm gonna support this guy or this girl because of who they are, because of how they carry themselves.
Hmm.
And even if you don't build up a massive, gigantic fan following like Cyberfraud, you could build up a cult following that will eventually grow and grow and grow until you get them Cyberfraud numbers. It's
Hmm.
going to take some time, but it can happen. People are just impatient. A lot of people are impatient. They don't want to work for it. They don't want to wait. They just
Yeah.
want to sit there now, now, now. I want that money now. I want that 6 figures now. I
Well,
mean,
and y-
it's going to take a long time, but you can get there.
yeah, yeah, and I mean, I've said uh, that EVS it took him a year to build up his channel, but I mean that doesn't even scratch the surface of what he's done. Like he always says, he's been a 25-year long veteran, and he was not an overnight success. He's been working at it for 25 years. So, even people who say, well, yeah, but his channel became so popular even over the year, so much more popular than everyone else, and they're kind of discounting the fact that, yeah, because he's been working at this for 25 years. that's
Exactly.
that's why he is where he is. So, but yeah, I think basically there's just been this schism of people critics and new or newly indie creators, and I think it's ultimately going to be good. Basically, this weekend that line has just been very well, hopefully well defined at this point. So there's the folks that are, I guess, upset at the more successful indie creators sort of taking that ComicsGate name, which whether or not they're jealous, I mean, I believe them when they say they're not jealous of their success, but it seems like they're uh, uh, either jealous or just upset about the fact that they have sort of commandeered the movement. And so I think that it's a good thing for those people to be like, okay, that's fine. That wasn't our intent, so we're gonna branch off. We're not gonna be part of that movement anymore, at least not directly. And so we're doing our own thing, and you guys we absolutely support you. Keep doing what you're doing, and the movement is yours. It's, we're hands off now. We're gonna concentrate on our own books, and I honestly think, you know, Del Wolf North mentions ComicsGate creators criticizing ComicsGate, or being criticized by ComicsGate critics. I agree. It's just, everybody's held to the same standard. Anyone can criticize anyone else, and you can listen or not. It's totally up to anyone who wants to listen, whether or not they want to, you know, buy these new books or buy the old books or whatnot. I mean, honestly, I've come to the realization that I am farther away from Comicsgate than you are, even, because I've not been backing any mainstream comics for 20 years, and I'm still not. I have not. I still, to this day, I have not bought a Marvel or a DC or Image or IDW comic book in over 20 years, and I'm not planning to. I have bought Alterna, certainly, and I've definitely put a lot of money into these indie books. So, yeah, I agree. I'm not going to be using the ComicsGate hashtag anymore. So I'm just going to back who I like and criticize everyone. I mean, I don't have any problems, bringing up any of these books, Nasser's books, or Cyberfrog. Like I said, I've been wanting to basically go through live all of the Cyberfrog books, and if what I've read so far I like, but if I find something to critique that that I don't like, I don't have any problem with critiquing it. So Zebulon Pike says, as a free market, people can choose to associate with or not, purchase or not, criticize or not, and that's the way it's always been. No big deal. Yeah.
Exactly. And to touch on that, the whole jealousy thing, I'm not going to say there's not, because there is jealousy. There's definitely some jealousy, some resentment in this movement about people making money where they feel that they should be making the money. But that's coming from other pros and trolls and people who just downright want to disrupt everything that's going on. But my only problem with that is the people who are jealous should be left off in their own corner, their own side of the map, and not, tucked in with the people who are just criticizing. Now, I have the only critique I've had, and like I said, I've said this multiple times, the only critique I've had is with John Millen saying that we're all in competition with each other. That's the only critique I've had, because I don't consider them competition. I consider them brothers in arms, I consider them teachers and people I could learn from. They're not my competition, because we're writing totally different, awesomely different books. And we're telling way different stories. So we're not in competition. I could see if I was telling a story about a cybernetic amphibian, then you could say I'm in competition with EVS. Or I'm telling a story about, a Captain America-esque superhero like Lone Star, then you could say I'm in competition. Or I'm telling a story about a detective with, supernatural abilities like Critias, then you could say we're in competition. I'm telling stories about supernatural creatures, mythological creatures, God, the devil, and, there's a lot of religious themes in my writing. A lot of H.P. Lovecraft, Stephen King type themes in my writing, which is totally different from everybody else's writing. And I'm just here to tell my stories next to John Millen, next to Critias, next to Kung Lee, next to EVS, and all these great people that I want to learn from. They're brothers in arms to me. They're uncles, brothers. The only person that gets the title of dad is Doug Tenaple. That's the only person I call dad. And I've said that multiple times. So, I mean, there is jealousy. It's not coming from me. And it's not coming from England Teen. It's not coming from anybody in England Teen's camp. But there is jealousy out there. And, it does need to be called out. And it does need to be addressed when people do it. But everybody that's a critic, like how, I say, no, John Millen, I'm not in competition with you. I'm your ally. I'm here to learn from you. I don't want that. I don't want people taking that as, oh, he's just jealous. There's nothing to be jealous of. I mean, I have a job. I have a pretty good job. I make good money. And if I make no money off my writing, I still have a good job. I still have good money. I'm still taken care of. I'm getting by. I'm surviving. and that's all that matters to me. I want to make
Yeah.
money off my writing, and I may not never make John Millen or EVS or even Stephen King money, but I'm at least I went out there. I put in my own work, I put in my own time, and I did my best.
Yeah.
But yeah, there is jealousy out there in this movement, and pettiness and stupidity, and a whole hell of a lot of trolling. Just like you see how John De La Rose is going around on Twitter right now, trolling people and attacking people and coming at
Yeah.
people's necks, and he's supposed to be a professional. And like I said, it made me upset because a lot of people were confusing me because my name is John. They were confusing me with John De La Rose. I'm like, no,
Yeah.
I'm not. Edwin Boyette said in the live stream earlier, no, John De La Rose is a Hispanic horror author, and John Wallace is an African American, lover of comic books.
Hmm.
Like, if people are confusing me with John De La Rose, no, I'm not trolling anybody. I'm here to learn what I can and
Yeah.
grow and become better and do my own thing. That's why I also dropped the ComicsGate hashtag because of all the negativity behind it. I support the ideals, I
Hmm.
respect the ideals, but I'm not going to use that hashtag because it's going to invite me to be attacked. It's going to invite me to be, locked in with something negative. And
Hmm.
like I said, I'm trying to be zen like a Buddhist right now. I've been through enough stuff.
Yeah.
I've been through enough pain. I've been through enough mental anguish. I've been through enough agony in my life to the point where, like I said, I'm 37. I'm a grown ass man. I live on my own. I have since I was 20. I pay my own bills. I pay my own way. I'm just trying to write, tell funny stories, entertain people with my own brand of entertainment. And if I come across a pro or somebody famous like Doug Ernst, who has been teaching me a lot of stuff, or like somebody like EVS, who's teaching me by doing his show. I don't got to be on his show for him to teach me. He's teaching me by doing his show. So I
Yeah.
mean, I'm just trying to learn, grow, and become better.
Hmm.
I'm not one of the fanboys out here that's you know saying "Hail Caesar" and saying, "Oh, I brought Cyberfrog, so I have a right to be on your show," or "Oh, I followed you for the past 10 years. I got a right to be on your show," or "I got a right to this, I got a right to that." No,
Hmm.
the only thing I have a right to do is to get on YouTube, watch his videos, watch how amazing he is, and take notes and learn from that and be a better entertainer myself. That's the only thing I have the right to do.
Yep.
I don't if I never get on EVS's show, it would never bother me. It
Yeah.
would never bother me to not be on EVS's show because I'm trying to build my own platform first.
Hmm.
And if I do ever get on his show, I would get on there, talk for a little bit, say what I got to say, and be out.
Hmm.
Like, thanks for having me. I mean, if it's good being here, good talking to you for the first time ever, and I'm out, and I may never be on there again.
Yeah.
But I'm okay with that. I'm okay with that. Next to compared to the person who is just trying to get on there because they're a fanboy, just trying to get on there because they want to brag about it, or just trying to get on there for the purpose of being on there to become YouTube famous.
Yeah.
The quick way to become YouTube famous is to do what we're doing: start a channel, do live streams, make videos, talk about things, be entertaining, be engaging. That's the best way to become YouTube famous. I mean,
Hmm.
Maximilian Dude built himself up on his own. Marky Pyler, which is the greatest person in YouTube history right now, built himself up.
Yeah.
PewDiePie, even though people despise him, I don't despise him. I mean, PewDiePie built himself up.
Hmm.
Tyrone Magnus, Coefficient, Noble from Lost Paws. These people built themselves up, and they have millions of followers. Their channels are monetized. They have ad revenue. And people like Marky Powell, he's going around the country doing concerts. He's going around the country appearing on stage and stuff and commercials and everything because he built himself up from the ground up. So it's not people like EVS and Marky Powell and legends like Stephen King and Anne Rice. They've showed you what you can do to be famous. You just got to take notes and make sure you're paying attention. But a lot of people don't want to pay attention. They just want that quick, I want to run, jump into the swimming pool and learn how to swim the first time stepping into the water. No, you can't do that. You got to grow and be entertaining and be engaging, and you got to start from the bottom. I have 63 subscribers on my channel. Am I upset about that? No, hell no. I'm grateful. I'm grateful to 63 people on my channel like to hear me talk. I'm grateful to 63 people turn in to my videos and watch my videos. I mean,
Yeah.
I'm grateful for the 200 for the 260 something odd followers I have on Twitter. I'm blessed. I am blessed and highly favored. You got to start small.
Yeah,
Start
yeah.
small, people. Be engaging and build yourselves up.
Yeah, yeah. Just a couple things real quick. So, yeah, I agree. Some people in the chat were talking about how it's kind of got complicated, and it was really getting a little bit complicated. Right now, I think it's really suddenly gotten a lot simpler. And Del Wolf has that uh, thing on Twitter. It looks like most people agree. 672 votes. 88% says no special treatment for ComicsGate creators or compared to anyone else. And then Zebulon Pike was asking, do you, John, do you have an Indiegogo project? I know you don't right now, but what are your plans for the future? Can you go over that real quick?
My plans right now, I'm going to write a couple of chapters of my novel, and I'm going to put it on WordPress out in the open for people to take a look at it. And when I
Hmm.
do that, I will let people know when I got those chapters up so they can sit there and judge for themselves,
Sorry, did you
I
say did you
mean,
say graphic novel or just a novel?
I'm doing a novel.
A
I am
novel.
not doing a graphic novel. I'm not
Gotcha.
going the comic book route because I'm
Yep.
too wordy. I like to tell a story. I like to be detailed. I'm not going the comic book route.
Yeah,
Now, if
that's
I
cool.
if I make it one day, if I make it, because I'm being humble about this, because the key to success is to be humble at all times.
Hmm.
Now, if I do get successful and somebody once comes to me and says, "Hey, I want to do a comic out of your novel," by all means, I'll work with that person. But like I tell everybody all the time, I'm going to Stephen King and Anne Rice route. I'm writing a book. That is my strength. That is my passion. I'm writing a book.
Hmm.
I'm going the Stephen King route. That's my hero. I look up to EVS. I'm learning from him. But Stephen King is my hero. That's my inspiration above all. I'm going the Stephen King route and writing a novel. So
Cool.
that's how I'm doing it.
Are you going to talk to publishers about? I mean, are you going to go sort of the standard route and talk to actual just, you know, I guess
Yeah, I'm
sort
going
of
the
the
standard
standard
route. I'm not
publishers?
going to Indiegogo. I'm not
Okay,
doing fan.
I see.
I'm not doing that. I'm not going
Yeah.
to Indiegogo. I'm going to do everything. I'm going to go a totally different route. I'm going to try to avoid crowdfunding if possible because I don't want to get people's expectations up and have something bad happen and I can't deliver. So I'm going to go the traditional route and talk to a publisher, maybe one in my city, maybe one close to my city, but I'm not going to Indiegogo and I'm going to try to avoid crowdfunding
Hmm.
as much as possible. I mean, the Indiegogos are
Yeah.
working, and like I said, God bless these people. God bless what they've done so far.
Hmm.
I'm not knocking them. It's just it's not my forte. It's not the
Yeah,
route
and
that I'm going.
I don't know if I don't know. I haven't really looked, but I haven't seen too many actual novels being crowdfunded. I don't know if that's I don't even know if that's viable or not. But I mean, it seems like there's a lot of options. There's a ton of options in terms of publishing novels. So I'm sure there are
Yeah,
plenty out
I'm
there.
going the Stephen King route. The
Hmm.
best thing I can say to people is I'm being patient. I'm taking my time to make sure I write and tell a good story. I'm
Yeah.
not rushing anything out there just to say, hey, look, I'm so and so Team Comics. I have this. No, everything I'm doing is the Stephen King route.
Hmm.
I'm writing a book. I'm writing a novel. I'm not doing a graphic novel. I'm not
Yeah.
doing a cartoon. I'm not doing a comic book. If somebody wants to do a comic book with me one day, God bless you. I will think about doing that, but I'm doing a novel.
Yeah.
Now I'm getting artwork of my characters commissioned and drawn up so people know what my characters look like, but I'm doing a novel.
Yeah.
You know,
So
I'm not going to try to avoid the crowdfunding as much as possible.
yeah. So much like people who say they are ComicsGate adjacent, the two of us are comic books adjacent. We're both creators, both obviously following what's going on and interested in everything, but neither of us are actually doing a comic book directly. So you're doing eventually doing a novel. I'm hopefully sooner than later going to be working on some video games related to comic books. But yeah, so both of us are more commentators from the outside looking in, and hopefully getting more and more involved as we go. So.
Oh, trust me, I wish I could draw. I wish I could.
Mhm.
I
Oh,
would love to be an artist like Van
yeah,
Sciver and them.
I'm
But
not.
I mean,
Yeah, I'm a
God
terrible
gave me a
artist.
gift to write, so that's what I'm going to go with. I'm a writer.
That's
And
right.
plus, I mean, I don't have the funds right now or the writers that want to commit to doing a whole comic book or whole graphic novel. I don't got
Mhm.
that access to or the money to hire somebody like that. And
Yeah,
EVS
yeah.
even said it one time. He said it on the live stream that $10,000 would most likely get you 28 to 30 pages of a
Uh-huh.
comic. And that's all fine and dandy right now, but I don't got 10 grand on me,
Yeah.
handy. And if I did have 10 grand, I'll probably go into paying off some debts and getting some writing equipment and
Yeah.
making my place look a little bit more spiffy than what it is.
Yeah.
Building up my man cave. So
Definitely. Yeah, so I mean, I've noticed, and I've been doing software development for 15 years, really only working on games for about 3 years, and I'm excited about, getting just becoming acquainted with people who have some of these skills that I definitely don't have and have had trouble getting or finding people. Because one of the first projects that I did when I started my game company, I went through a headhunter to find an artist, and it ended up being just ridiculously expensive. It was insane, and ended up eating up practically the whole budget of the game just for a small percentage of the art. Oh, hey, DI Freighter Watcher, how you going? I don't know if has HP stream ended. I kind of watched the first half, but I didn't know if
who was
but
streaming?
uh, Hard Bastard does a news stream that I watch that I occasionally chat with DI Freighter Watcher here, and she showed up to show us some love. So appreciate you stopping by. Thanks.
Yeah,
Um,
thank you.
but yeah, I guess I'll have to watch the rest of his. I imagine he's probably done for the day. But anyway, what was I saying? Oh yeah, so finding artists and writers has been hard, difficult, and expensive, and I'm excited to be somewhat a part of this network um, where I'm hopefully going to be able to find writers and artists that can do those things at a reasonable price. I mean, obviously, I'm not going to be, trying to rip them off or anything. I'll certainly pay them, but oh man, it's just been incredibly difficult to find people who are really good but willing to work at a reasonable rate. So I'm definitely going to be reaching out to some people in the ComicsGate or formerly ComicsGate communities to sort of yeah, find those extra people that I'm gonna need. So oh, and thanks to Freighter. I appreciate that. Peach is having a rough weekend, unfortunately, but yeah, she's doing well. And I think I told you um, that I screen capped your message from I guess a few weeks back, Di. So she really appreciated that. Thank you. So anyway, just wanted to say that because she popped in.
And
An
who
acquaintance
was
of
Peach?
mine.
Who
What's
was
that?
Peach?
Peach is my girlfriend.
Oh, okay. Well, yeah, like I said, I'm keeping her in prayer. And,
Sounds like you got some kids there. Hello? Did I lose you? Uh oh.
no, I'm still here. I was
Oh,
just doing some manager stuff real quick. I'm still
oh,
here.
okay.
But yeah, but like I said, I'm still praying for her and, hoping she's okay
Yeah,
and
thank you.
whatnot. And, we're going to hope she get better. We're going to keep helping her fight through this.
Yeah. Yep. It's been a fight all her life, so it's just one thing after another. Hopefully, we'll figure things out. So, but anyway,
Yeah, of course. I mean, like I said, I'm gonna keep you on prayer as much as possible because I know what that is. I was married to somebody a while back for 10 years who had lupus real bad. I don't know if you know what that is, but yeah,
yes,
it was
absolutely do.
it tore her up all the time. It was
Hmm.
a struggle in the process. So I've been through something similar.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Yeah,
I know where you're coming from with that.
we thought she might actually have lupus, but turns out not. Although she is, at the moment, we are going to a neurologist at the Mayo Clinic to see if that's the right route to go through. It's tough when you don't know what's going on. It's like what kind of specialist do you go to? So I don't know. It's been rough. I contemplated briefly going to doing like a GoFundMe. I hate doing that because I'm like you know asking people for money for nothing is just it just is uncomfortable for me. But we'll figure out something one way or another to make sure that we can pay for all this. But
Well,
that's why I'm working.
that's my also my opinion too. Like I hate asking people for money too.
Yeah.
That's why I would when I do get out there, I'm gonna try my best to avoid doing GoFundMe or even a Kickstarter or
Hmm.
an Indiegogo because if I fail, I don't want to let nobody down. I don't want to
Yeah.
you know get nobody's hopes up. They put money into my project and then something happens and I got to pull out the project. I don't want to do that.
Hmm.
I don't want to be one of those people. I don't want to be another Jamal Igle or another Richard Pace or somebody else who scammed the people. I want to be somebody who delivers, who makes my customers happy, who builds my customer fan base from the ground up.
Yeah.
The only thing that I'm ashamed of is being 37 years old and trying to really build this up now when I should have been building this up when I was way younger and I had the chance to, but I
Yeah.
put my right life on. I read a novel before and I had the chance to make an appearance back in the early 2000s and, become somebody out there that probably would have been out there right now, standing next to EVS as an equal. Right now I'm a student of EVS. I could have been an equal to EVS if I would have went through with my dreams and did what I had to do. Uh, Almost 20 years ago, back in 2002, and I would have been already well known. But I put that on hold
Hmm.
for a relationship, to be a stepfather, to get married, and the relationship didn't work out. And after the relationship fell apart, and I got my divorce, I went to college for journalism and mass media, and here I am now,
Yeah. Well,
trying to.
Zebulon Pike says, "Yo, John, it's never too late."
Yep, of course not. That's why I'm doing what I got to do.
Yep. Yep. Well, and I'm somewhat starting over a bit myself. Let me just read this real quick. Still an identity. Yes, Viva Life, DI Freighter. Um, yeah, I mean, I'm somewhat starting over myself as well, just because I think we talked about this before. Built up my business for 15 years from nothing and was very successful, and then sort of came crashing down all around me, and so now I'm kind of building back up from scratch. And hey, I'm 41, so I'm farther, I'm farther down the line than you are, and feel like starting over from
And
scratch.
that,
So
that, that yeah, that's another thing that people have to realize too. If you really want to make it, certain things like friends and video games and certain hobbies, if you want to be a writer or artist and really get into this, certain things like that, you have to sit there and put on hold.
mm-hmm.
You can't try to write a whole book and still be playing video games all the time or kicking it with your friends at the bar or hanging out all the time when you got to get work done. Like me personally, all I have right now is my writing.
Yeah.
I just got over being sick, got over this, had this bad infection in my mouth, and that could have killed me. That could have took me out of here. I found out if I didn't get it treated in time. So thank you God for that. And right now, all I had to focus on is my writing. So I'm going to focus on my writing. The video games on the back burner, the hanging out and doing other stuff that's on the back burner because I
Yeah.
got to work my ass off. I got to work my ass off to catch up to be one of the greats, and it's going to take some time. It's going to take some time building my YouTube channel, building up my franchise, building up my brand, but
Mm-hmm.
I'm going to my best foot forward.
Yeah. So yeah, and DI Freighter Watcher says, "You're a baby. I'm staring at the near side of 60 kids." So yeah, it could be
Uh,
worse. No, just kidding.
it would be a blessing for me to see 60. That would be a
Yeah.
blessing, from God
Yeah.
above to see 60.
Hopefully, I'll be retired by then. But
Yeah, I mean, I ain't trying to see too many years now. I ain't trying
yeah,
to. If I see 60, that's a blessing. If I don't see 90 or 100, oh hey, oh well. If I see 60, that's a blessing.
yeah. So Zebulon Pike says, "I couldn't help notice your lack of an Aussie accent." So yeah, I'm from Alabama originally. I'm from Alabama, and then I went to, I lived in Milwaukee, Wisconsin for 9 years. Went to high school in Wisconsin, and then,
God bless
yeah, thank you, because it was cold. And then moved to Tennessee and lived in Tennessee for 20 years. And now I'm in Arizona. So, yeah, never
you.
lived in
Not
Australia.
just that. Milwaukee has like a dark cloud over it because of the whole Dahmer mess. 'Cause, I studied a lot of criminology and a lot of things like that and whatnot. And no offense to Milwaukee, it's just
Well, the
that whole Jeffrey Dahmer thing. It just
Jeffrey
left a
Dahmer,
dark
yeah.
cloud over Milwaukee.
I guess, yeah. Yeah, in fact, he worked at a factory called Ambrosia, at a company called Ambrosia that made chocolate that was just fantastic. Of course, they shut down after that whole thing, like shut down the entire. I don't know if it was related, but probably. Um, so yeah, I remember driving past the Ambrosia factory and it was like, oh my God, it smells so good. So the whole marsupial thing is a bit complicated. I don't know. I went to Australia when I was like maybe 5 or 6 years old, and I always kind of felt an affinity for it. So I took up the whole marsupial. In fact, when I was in college, um, what's that? Those weren't core. Oh God, no, no. We're not going to talk about Jeffrey Dahmer here. So when I was in, what was I saying? Um, oh, I know. So when I was in high school and then in college, I sort of, and this was like early days of the internet, and really the first group that I joined in terms of, something along the lines of a ComicsGate kind of group, but completely different, was the Ultima Dragons. So there's a group of video or a series of video games called Ultima, and I joined the Ultima Dragons back in I believe 1996. And my dragon name was everyone had to choose a name, and mine was Marsupial Dragon. And I guess just because I liked Australia for some reason. Um, and so I've been Marsupial Dragon to the Ultima Dragons for however long, 22 years. And then oddly enough, yeah, when I started my video game company, I met this girl named Peach, and she was actually from Australia, from Adelaide, Australia, which is on the southern central coast. And yeah, we got together, and I hadn't really been using that marsupial moniker for a long time. I started using it again, and she totally. I kept telling her, no, I've just always been, I've always used that marsupial. She's like, you didn't use that until recently, and she was like, I believe you that you had that before, but she's like, you definitely did not latch onto that until we started,
Yeah, I'm a Pennsylvania guy myself. I was
Yeah,
born and raised in Philadelphia. It's okay up here. I lived in North Carolina for 3 months, and
yeah,
boy, was North Carolina beautiful.
yeah.
It,
Well,
it, was, it was beautiful. Bible built, communities, and
mhm,
everybody's nice and sweet and loving down there. Everybody's family down there. They take care of each other. I really had fun. But yeah, I'm from the cold north. Pennsylvania, where it's yeah,
yeah.
people are rough up here, but
Well,
you get by. Stick to your P's and Q's, and mind your business. You get by, but it's rough up here.
yeah. Well, hopefully, I'd love to get Peach on the show. Like I've said, she's been very, very ill for a long time, but she's Outback Dundee now. So, and well, she doesn't have an Australian accent either. She actually has an English accent. It has a
That's
bit
beautiful.
a bit of Australian in it, but she is actually from an English family, and so despite growing up in Australia, she never really developed like a thick Australian accent. So she's more English, but I think people who are um, uh, people who hear her voice for the first time usually recognize it as English, but with just a tiny bit of Australian in there. So yeah, hopefully if she's ever on the show, she'll sort of elucidate where the marsupial part came from.
Yeah,
she's
that'd be good. I'm praying for her. Like I said, I want her to get better. I really do, cause I know that dealing with that is hell.
hmm
Like I seen her for 10 years. My ex-wife, she had lupus real bad. Dealing with that type of stuff, that pain and stuff, is hell to deal with. So I'm praying
yeah.
she gets better.
Well, and
You know.
I was on the one thing that's I don't know, not really bothered me, but has been kind of weird lately. Have been there's just been, and I don't know if it's because Doug and Mike sort of have been getting together more and talking more about, Christian stuff and religion and all that stuff. And I wish they would kind of leave that. I mean, it's part of their lives. That's fine. They can do what they like. But I don't know. It's just not. It doesn't interest me in the least bit. And I've gone on to some of their shows and been like, if you guys knew what Peach has been through her entire life, from when she was born, practically, uh, it just puts Job to shame. She you know she would kill to have Job's life. You know, his entire life was like a paradise compared to hers. So I find it difficult. I grew up, I was raised Jewish actually, but basically left that faith years and years ago, and I've just been I find it difficult to latch on to any particular religion because I just don't, especially after meeting her and finding out all the stuff that she's been through. I just can't reconcile
Well,
that. So
to defend Mike S. Miller and Doug TenNapel and Edwin Boyette, because they're all strong Christian men, and I love that about them. To defend them in that, I'm wholly a Christian, no particular denomination like Baptist or anything, but I'm a Christian. I believe in God. I believe in the Trinity. What they're doing from their end, they're using YouTube
mm-hmm.
the way that would be intended for Christians like us to use it. They're
Mm-hmm.
teaching the Word of God. They're trying to bring people into believing something, and believe in something positive. They're
Yeah,
using the platform the way that it's supposed to be used. And I mean, there's a lot of people out there
yeah,
that don't
that's
believe. That's okay. There's a lot of people out there that's atheist or Buddhist or Muslim or
mm-hmm.
Jewish or Catholic. That's okay. Believe what you want to. It's America. You have a God-given right to believe what you want to. But in their
Mm-hmm.
defense, in my opinion, these are some mighty men of God. They're out there doing God's work like they should, and that's one
Yeah.
reason why I call Doug TenNapel dad. That's another reason why Edwin has my utmost and total respect. There's not a bad thing anybody could say about Edwin Boyette to me. I would not believe it. I love that man like the uncle I never had, and Mike S.
Yeah.
Miller. I consider him a teacher. He's a strong man of God. He's been in comic books, and whatever
Mm-hmm.
Mike S. Miller could teach me, or any of those guys could teach me, I'm willing to sit there and learn.
Yeah.
That's why I never missed the Edwin Boyette in an Umbrella Guy show.
Mm-hmm.
I never missed the Edwin Boyette show, period, because those guys, religion aside, those guys are knowledgeable. And Doug TenNapel, Doug is just one of the most awesome human beings on this planet. Just to sit there and hear him talk about the old days and about movies and
Yeah.
TV shows. And he has the guy from Mystery Science Theater 3000, the show I grew up with, on his show. I learned all my punchlines and jokes from Mystery Science Theater 3000. I love it. I
Mm-hmm.
mean, I love it. I can't say nothing bad about those guys. And
Yeah.
I understand,
Yeah.
faith is something
I don't
hard to
begrudge
come to
them.
terms with, especially when you go through bad stuff all your life. And you have the right to feel that way.
Yeah.
But in their defense, they're just trying to give people something positive to believe in.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. I question sometimes whether or not it helps them sell their products, but I mean, I guess that's not necessarily their primary concern. I like Edwin a lot because I mean he has not been preachy at all. I mean he's basically been the voice of reason and just basically just you know spreading sort of this whole love thy neighbor kind of thing without getting too religious about it. But I don't begrudge anyone doing that at all. That's perfectly fine. I don't mean to criticize. I just I just want to stick to what I like, and I'm probably gonna stay out of those those chats because I don't want to become critical of that, and I just want to stick to when it comes to I guess formerly ComicsGate, I want to stick to comics, and cause that's just what I like. So I won't certainly won't criticize him for that.
Yeah, and me personally, I mean, I was, I was raised in a Baptist church. I got baptized when I was 12, but I really didn't understand the notion at the time. So I went again and got baptized when I was late teens, early 20s, because I didn't understand it at first when I was younger.
Mhm.
So, I mean, I had to sit there and, think about it and study more and get more in the word and try to become a better Christian, understand what it really means. But, like I said, I mean, when I grew up, I grew up in an abusive childhood. I mean, I was molested. I've been through hell. I've been through hell. I've been in crazy relationships. My kids were taken away from me
Yeah.
by their own mother. I've been through things. I've been through a lot of painful things, and I still believe. I still have to believe because with all the bad things I've seen and been through, I've also had a whole lot of blessings too. I had a whole lot of blessings that came from above, even when I didn't feel I deserved those blessings. I still got them. I'm blessed right now. I got my own apartment. I work a pretty good job. I have money. I mean, I'm writing. I still have my health for the most part. I'm getting older. Got to stay in better shape now, because I'm damn near 40. But I mean, I'm blessed. Life is a blessing. You know,
Mhm.
I don't have everything I want right now, but it's coming slowly but surely. It's coming, and you got to have patience. You just got to have patience. You got to believe and stay strong, stay humble, stay as righteous as possible. And you may not get it today, you may not get it tomorrow, you may not get it next week and next year, but everything you want and need from above, it comes to you. It does. It really does. I'm a testament to that.
Mhm.
So, I don't begrudge anybody or
Yeah.
knock anybody who says, "Well, I don't believe" or "I'm a different faith." I mean, you got the right to believe what you want to believe.
Yeah.
As long as you believe in something. But I just encourage people to look at the positive aspects of believing in the Holy Trinity. Look at the positive aspects
Mhm.
of believing in the one true God, and then make a judgment.
Yeah.
Because I mean, the miracles
And
happen every day. Just like I said, I'm praying that Peaches gets better. Because I know personally, I've seen personally what that kind of pain and suffering could put people through, and I'm
mhm.
hoping and praying that she gets through it. That
Yeah.
she gets
Thank you.
through it, or it becomes manageable to the point where she could live a normal life.
Yeah.
I'm
Yeah.
praying for that. I really am.
Yeah. And Zebulon, I could very well be wrong. He pointed out that that both Doug and Mike broke six figures on their projects, and I don't know if they had been doing that. I mean, yeah, I don't know. You could be right that you know that they're talking about religion actually helped. I I don't know. I kind of, yeah, I almost regret bringing it up because I really don't want to sound like I'm criticizing or that I'm telling them what to do. I it just doesn't interest me, but I certainly do back both those guys, and there's nothing wrong with it. I mean, hey, they're out there, basically uh, putting out a message of love, so nothing wrong with that. Absolutely. So,
Of course, I respect. I totally respect him for that.
yeah.
Mike S. Miller, he doesn't get the drawn and quartered numbers when he does his cross-examination Bible videos. He doesn't get the drawn and quartered numbers, but he does get a good, decent amount of people in
Yeah.
there who like hearing what he has to say.
Yeah.
They listen, they
Absolutely.
ask questions, and he does have a lot of atheists that appear in his chat. But at the same time, they listen to him, they
Hmm.
listen to Doug, they listen to Edwin, and I mean, Edwin's got one of the softest voices I ever heard. Period for radio. Like, why would you want to? Why would you not want to listen to him?
Yeah. Oh, hey, Di Fredo Watcher, thanks for stopping by. I appreciate you so much, and thanks for popping in. So she had to go. So anyway, yeah. Was there anything else that I wanted to talk about? I'm trying to think. Not really. I noticed on Twitter, yeah, the anti-ComicsGate people are calling it a victory to have Ethan Van Sciver sort of leave ComicsGate, and he's like, dude, just whatever. He's not changing anything. He even says in his latest tweet, "This is phase two. This is what ComicsGate uh, was always gonna end up being, and this is it's gonna be great. He's gonna be selling his books, and I can't wait for Rainbow Brute. It's gonna be awesome."
Yeah,
So anyway,
exactly. I mean, all props to Van Sciver. He's all props to him. He's a genius. And
mm-hmm.
like I said, I want to learn everything I can from him. You know, and as far as that was that Mags Passaggio post. I mean, Mags feels that when I talked to Mags in my DMs, well, her DMs, when I told her thank you for Kim and Kim, and she cursed me out for supporting ComicsGate at the time. I mean, she greatly feels because she feels that Richard C. Meyer and Van Sciver are behind a group of trolls that allegedly harassed her when she went to a con, and then she had to get armed security to go to all her other con appearances so she wouldn't be harassed by quote unquote ComicsGate trolls. And you could just the way she described it, not to go into detail about the DM, she just felt scared and frightened, and she felt that like she's been betrayed. And I sat there, I said, look, Miss Mags, I'm bisexual, openly bisexual. I have gone through the same slings and arrows and hateful words
Mhm.
that you have gone through your whole entire life too. Like I'm right there with you in the trenches. Like I'm an ally. She's like, oh, well, you represent ComicsGate. They harass people. Like, well, Mags, the same people who would troll you and call you the F word for gay people are the same people who would say it to me too. Like if not, if anything, we go through the same type of scrutiny. I'm there with you. I respect you. I support your work. You know, I would never in my life harass another LGBT person ever
Mhm.
or ever talk bad about them. Like no, that's we gotta work together in this movement, you know. And I mean,
Yeah.
it's
And
I hope she
honestly, no,
understands that.
nobody ever actually harassed her. That's just a bunch of nonsense that she's. Yeah, basically criticism of her work she considers to be harassment. So whatever.
No, she claims a bunch of trolls came to a con and
Yeah,
tried to physically assault her. That's what she told me.
yeah, she's a liar.
She claimed.
She's a liar.
I don't know. I
I,
wasn't there. I'm just going by what
yeah,
she said. But I mean,
I wasn't there.
I want
I
her
don't
to.
believe her for a second. I think she's lying.
Well, look, for me, let me say this. Just let me say this. I
Yeah,
understand you don't believe her, but the way she told me that she was almost accosted at a con, that
almost.
fans of EPS. Please let me finish. Just please let me finish. I
Sorry.
understand you don't believe her, but let me finish. She said that she was accosted and attacked at a con. Now, whether you don't believe her or not, that's up to you. But I mean, the way she came off and the way she sounded, that she sounded very scared, very hurt. And I tried my best to assure her that everybody that represents what ComicsGate believes in
Mm-hmm.
is not here to accost her, attack her, run her off, or beat her up. And like I told her, I'm LGBTQ too. Like I don't want to see her hurt. I don't want to see her scared to go to a con or beaten up. You know, I mean, because the same people who would call her the F word for gays, they would call that to me too. I mean, I'm standing right there
Mm-hmm.
in the trenches with Mags. I mean, whether she's lying or not, that's up for God. That's between her and God. But I'm just saying, if somebody ever did try to attack her, and me personally, if I see it, I would stop
Yeah.
it. Even though she cursed me out, you know, she read me the riot act for supporting Ethan Van Sciver. I would still support Mags. I'm still going to buy her book. I still
Mm-hmm.
think she's a beautiful young lady, and I have no issues with her. I didn't block her. I didn't mute her. She
Mm-hmm.
cursed me out, and I just left it at that. I said, "Well, thank you for your book. I'm still going to support you, and have a blessed one."
Mm-hmm.
Because, like I
I'd
said,
say
I'm all about peace.
I th- I I would venture to guess that about 99.9% of comic skaters feel the exact same way. That if they actually saw any kind of actual harassment or her or anyone else being threatened that way, that they would step in and try to prevent that, because that's the movement has been against that kind of stuff from the very beginning. And nobody that I follow in Comicsgate would ever do that or condone that. So that's I mean that's
Exactly. Like I
yeah,
said, she claims that these trolls came from Richard C. Meyer and EBS. Now, I don't believe
yeah,
that part.
yeah,
You know, but you know, but they there are some fanatic fans who go out there and do crazy stuff, and they claim that they're doing it for EVS and
yeah,
Richard C. Meyer, and that's wrong. I don't condone that. But if somebody was physically trying to attack her at a con, you know, I'm against that. I wouldn't allow that. That's wrong.
yeah,
That's totally wrong. She's a beautiful young lady. Her views are twisted. She says some stuff that's wrong, but she's still a human being, and she still deserves respect. She doesn't deserve to be attacked, called the F word, accosted, bullied, anything like that. She doesn't deserve that. Just like I don't deserve that.
yeah,
You know, we're human beings trying to make a living, trying to tell stories, and trying to just be passionate about, you know, comics and entertaining in general.
yeah.
So I mean, I would never wish bad on Max. for two reasons. One, I love her work. Or more than two reasons. Two, we both represent the LGBT, and three, we may disagree with her points against ComicsGate or whatever this movement is going to be from now on. But well, I don't want to see another human being attacked because just
Yeah.
because she has different views. We shouldn't attack people physically or even emotionally or mentally just because they have different views than we do.
Mm-hmm.
Because words do hurt.
Yep.
I mean, words. I mean, a lot of stuff I let bounce off my chest and bounce off me, but words. If people hit those right chords, words do hurt. I've seen people driven to suicide over words. It's ugly. It's
Mm-hmm.
really ugly out there.
Yeah, yeah. I mean, just from what I've seen, I've only seen. I mean, I've only seen the only person I know of that's been like actually physically attacked was the quartering. Jeremy Hambley was attacked for basically being sort of on the side of the the anti SJWs, and the only people I've seen personally, I mean, like threatened at cons have been like the Brightwisers and Zach, and EVS went to go as uh, Trashfire Comics brought up, went to a book signing, and the business he was at got vandalized afterwards. So I've only personally seen either actual violence or threats of violence or scary stuff coming from the side of Max Visaggio. So that's just where I'm coming from.
I mean, yeah, I heard all about that post that she did about bashing straight
So
guys in the face with a baseball bat,
yeah.
and I mean that's
Not even straight.
God.
She
God
said cis, so that includes you.
I mean, look, God will deal with her the way He chooses to deal with her, and hopefully
Yeah,
one day she'll learn her lesson and not say stuff like that again.
yeah.
But like I told her, we both represent the same movement. I'm still an ally in that movement with her, and I wish her no harm. Even if she would attempt to try to bash me in the face with a baseball bat, I'll probably just grab it, look her in the eye, like, yo. I probably tempted to kiss her right then and there, but hey, I'm gonna behave myself. I
All
got a
right.
crush on
Well,
her. Yeah. Hey, look, I'm
on
telling the
that note,
truth. But no, but I
that's
don't wish no harm on Madge. I don't. I mean, even though she says
no, I
stupid
don't
stuff, I
either.
don't wish no harm on her.
I don't either. Absolutely not. Well, I think it's yeah, I think we got to wrap up. So hopefully we'll
That's not a problem.
yeah. No, no, that's. I think we had a great talk about it. So like I said, it was a rough weekend, but I think it ended up positive, and I think it'll be getting
Yeah,
better going forward.
I hope so, because it has been very emotional. And personally, watching England team and EVS go at it was like almost watching your parents have that argument before a divorce. It's like I respect EVS, I respect the England team. They're both right. They are both right in this movement. They both got the right to feel and think how they both want to. I agree with EVS's standpoint. Give the readers something better to run to, and I agree with England team's standpoint of fighting a good fight to get DC and Marvel to at least, if not anything, apologize for the rude behavior of the Marvel people and have Robbie Rodriguez apologize what he did to EVS because that was wrong. I mean,
Yep.
they have yet to apologize for stuff like that. If
No.
they don't change the characters in the books and stop doing bad stories, at least apologize for the Marvel people cursing at the readers and in the fan base, and have Robbie Rodriguez publicly apologize
Hmm.
for what he did, sending those nasty pictures out. Because that you don't do that.
Never gonna happen. Never gonna happen.
We
Oh
could hope and dream.
well.
I don't know.
All right. Well, I felt more. I guess I feel more of a peer type relationship with Ethan just because just being a business owner, I really feel for his sense of responsibility, and I know it's been a big burden for him. So I'm just glad that he got to unburden a lot of that, and that he can just concentrate on making sure his family and close friends and family are taken care of, and so I wish him well with that.
Yeah, just like with all these guys, Mike S. Miller, Antonio Brace, Kanan White, Prettiest,
Yeah.
Doug Maple, Kung Lee, John Millen, EVS. Everybody looks at these guys
Mm-hmm.
as the de facto leaders of whatever they want to call their branch of the movement. And like I said, I'm here to learn from these guys. I'm here to take critiques from these guys. I'm here to take inspiration from these guys. I'm not here to compete with them. I'm not here to fight. I'm not here to argue, not get into Twitter banter with them over stupid stuff. I'm not here to have their fans spread lies or try to, do crazy stuff. I'm just here to learn from these guys. I wish them all the success in the world. I want them to succeed and make millions of dollars, and hopefully they will.
Yep.
Hopefully they will. Hopefully I'll make millions of dollars, and we could all sit there and throw up money and act like Scrooge McDuck together. But I'm not here to compete with these guys. I'm here to learn from them and grow with them. That's all I'm here to do. You know.
Yep.
I mean, we're competing. We're all competing actually against the big two. The big two should be our only enemy. Like,
Yeah.
and right now I'm
Absolutely.
boycotting Marvel. I'm boycotting Marvel, DC, Sony, Netflix because they're all becoming SJW companies.
Yeah.
So I'm competing against them. I'm not competing against EPS. I'm competing against them. We should all be competing against the big two.
Yep. Absolutely. Yeah. And yeah. And what was John Malin's comic? Is he the one with Detective Dead, or was that a different one? I can't remember.
Say it again.
Was John Malin working on Detective Dead? Is that his Indiegogo?
No, John Millen is Graveyard Shift.
Graveyard Shift. I know it's Dead Graveyard,
Yeah.
something like that. So yeah, he'd kill me
Yeah,
if I didn't
Graveyard
say
Shift. Detective Dead is Critias.
Critias, right?
Yeah,
Right.
Detective Dead is Critias.
I get him confused. Yeah, so back Graveyard Shift,
Yeah.
or John will kill me.
Yeah, back all of them. Look, I'm like, look, back. Look,
Everyone seems to
Cyberfrog is
forget
done.
Graveyard Shift though.
Cyberfrog is done, but all Ethan's projects back, every last one of Ethan's projects back. Graveyard Shift, Lone Star, Knuckle Bomb, Detective Dead, Brand, even Mortal Worlds by the Andons, back their book, back, show them some love. They came at EVS's neck. They were a joke for a month and a half on EVS's channel about their stupid videos. But look, back to Andons, because like I said, I'm a no drama, zen, forgiving, loving guy. I want peace. Back to Andons, back Antonio, back Kane, back all of them.
I'm looking forward to this week. Hopefully, I really want this week to be like a week of peace. Let's get kind of back to normal, back to, back in good comics, making good comics, and just everyone, at least on this side of the aisle, getting along. So let's get back to normal.
Exactly.
All right,
exactly.
man.
Let's get back to normal. Let's all be a family, and remember, our only enemy should be SJW Marvel, SJW DC, and SJW Netflix, DreamWorks, and Sony. That should be our only enemy. The far left SJW company.
Well, I'll just say that the newest version, the newest season of Daredevil was awesome, and Castlevania season 2 was unbelievable on Netflix. I just have to say, it was so good, so good. I loved Castlevania. So hopefully season 3 will be even better. So, but
yeah, hopefully, I'm hoping too.
Anyway, all right, man. Well, I guess I will talk to you tomorrow then.
Oh, no problem. No problem, my friend. You have a good night, and it's been fun.
All right. Thanks for everyone showing up. Appreciate it. And make sure that you hit the like button and subscribe and everything. And we'll see you tomorrow.
All right. Take care, brother.
Take care. Bye-bye.